Okay, all right, all right. So we getting started today. We have our relationship talk. This is Cherie, Davis and Friends, and this is our podcast. So we have conversations about relationships, about being single, about being in marriages and things of that nature. Today we have a live panel that's going to chime in and give us input on different topics in regards to relationships, marriage, and being single, playing the field. But how we started this podcast is myself and my wife Cherie here. We're married for 13 years. So if y'all don't mind clapping it up for 13 long, hard years. Right? So it's been 13 long, hard years. Listen, can y'all say it with me? 13 long, hard years. All right, so when you're in a marriage, it's a constant struggle of growth. It's a constant struggle of coming together as one. You know, and it's a battle. A lot of us aren't used to it. You can only find out if you're ready for it if you actually get involved in it. You know, a lot of people are like, college ain't for me. And it's like, have you ever went? No, but I just know it ain't for me. No, you gotta go. Get on campus. You know what I mean? Get a feel for it. And then you can let us know if that experience worked for you. But either way, we had 13 years and we've had a very tumultuous relationship. And you can Google that word. We had a very turbulent, I'll bring it up a notch. I got you. All right, we had a very turbulent marriage. You know, we went through so many struggles, so many challenges throughout our marriage, and we finally had one of our best years, and it was during a global pandemic, 2020. And it forced us to rely on each other. It forced us to, you know, stay within our roles. It forced us to appreciate each other even more. And since that day, we've been just trying to work on whatever we can to try to recreate, you know, the environment for us to continue to support each other, love each other, and move forward in a positive way. So this is one of the things that we do, similar to a form of therapy. You know what I mean? We share. We don't have all the answers. You know what I mean? So this is an open, safe environment for us to have conversations about black love, about relationships, about being single, about all these things that we have discussions about. All right, so without further ado, I want my beautiful wife to chime in. We usually are on live, and we have our YouTube going on and some other things. I want her to introduce herself, and I want you guys to add us on our platforms as we continue to grow, so that you can support us as well. And then we're going to have our amazing lineup tell us a little bit about themselves, and then we'll get started. So, Cherie?
I'll make it quick. So, I'm Cherie. We had started this podcast. We had a couples retreat in 2021. We had 7 different couples come out. And, you know, they all shared their experiences and the levels they were in as far as their relationships. Some were just getting married, actually got married August of 2022. We had another couple that was 15 years. We had another one that was like 10, and so forth and so forth. But anyway, pretty much we just had this big house with 7 couples. We did vision board, cooked. We just did everything as a couple and just reunited and connected with each other. It was an amazing experience, and we just went on live and we like started talking about it, and then we just created this podcast. We got a lot of feedback from it. They like, y'all should come on, y'all should talk, and this and that. Y'all great, I didn't even know. And I'm like, child, he's talking about 13 long years. Anywho, so we had created this podcast. We pretty much go live every Wednesday at 8 o'clock on Instagram. If anybody don't know, Cherie's _ Companies LLC, and he is I Am Maxwell Mall. _ Maxwell Mall. And we go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And we had actually started going live in person, maybe, I forgot. Anywho, so this is the 3rd one. And pretty much we just get panelists, you guys, with you, to come in and you know, just speak what you have to say. Because a lot of times on Instagram, you got people in the comments, they saying all kinds of things, and we can't keep up with it. We can't. Like, so sometimes it's just like we just need to hear it, like live in person. So this is pretty much how this all got started. We're actually just did our 52 episode last Wednesday. So we made our first year, which is great. So if anybody doesn't know, YouTube is Google. So if anybody that has a Google account can go onto their YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube, because we're basically going to take our platform officially to YouTube. So we won't be going live anymore on Instagram. We're going to take it straight to YouTube. So if you go on your Google account and you subscribe to the Davis and Friends podcast, we are on YouTube right now. But you have to subscribe to pretty much watch us live. We're taking it completely off of Instagram after April 23rd, when we return after Ramadan. We will be officially on YouTube. No more Instagram. So if you have a Google account, if anybody doesn't know, that's where YouTube is. Anybody that has a Gmail account, that's where YouTube is. If you log on to the Davises and Friends, look us up on YouTube, the Davises and Friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If anybody has a Google account, because a lot of people don't know that Google is YouTube. A lot of people. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to introduce our panel for tonight. Y'all want to start on y'all side? Ladies first, of course. Ladies first. Yeah. Okay, ladies first.
Hi guys and girls, I'm Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer Davis. I am a. Alright. Oh well. My purpose. Clear. Just so everybody's clear. I'm a friend of the Davis family, like I said. I'm a makeup artist, nail tech, do a lot of artistic things. And or maybe I'll spend some more. Huh? You can't hear me? Move closer. Move closer. Can you hear me, Ish? I'm Jen. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everybody. Go ahead, have a night. That's all.
My name is Simone. I'm here with the Gentlemen in a Pimp podcast. My fellow podcasters are over that side. I'm just here to be supportive of the women in the room, and I'm also here for the stop sign.
Up here.
Okay.
I'm Go Getter Jay. I'm not a podcaster, but I do a lot of public speaking. So I'm here to see what it's all about and chime in. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Pico, 1/4 of the Gentlemen in the Pen podcast. We're about to destroy these ladies over here real quick. Have a good night.
My name is Tuna, and I'm here to, well, he said it, of course. I was going to say the same exact thing.
What's going on? Thanks. I got the Gentlemen of the podcast, and we're going to do our thing, so let's get it started. 2K.
All right. So, this won't work. We're gonna make it happen. All right. So, how we do our discussions is we come to the table and everybody had an opportunity just to have a topic of discussion in mind, so that we can share it with the first of all with our guests here. And then also, if anyone wants to chime in that's in the audience, they can also get an opportunity after we discuss it. All right, so we're going to start off here, and then we're going to come to you, Jen, and then we're going to just kind of go back and forth from the ladies to the gentlemen. It's not necessarily a competition. We're just going to have some dialogue. But things do get get frisky because in the black community, we trying to figure stuff out. We trying to figure out what's up with these relationships, what's up with these marriages. Why is it taking us so long, if ever, for us to come together and unify? So this is a sticky topic. So it may come off as being competitive. I'm not sure, but it definitely does take for us to at least start with some dialogue so we can get some sort of understanding. All right, so we're going to start off the topic of discussion on Yang.
Okay, so your dialogue would be tonight. Why is there such a bad stigma on casual sex?
Why this topic of discussion? Why is there such a bad stigma on casual sex?
We need you to elaborate a little bit what you mean casual sex. What does that mean? The definition.
We all grown in here. We know what casual sex is. As far as like, if I
One
want
night stands?
to have sex with you, and you,
Right.
why is it an issue?
It's not an issue. Yeah.
for women. It ain't an
It's not an issue for men. Yeah, y'all are supposed to allegedly do whatever y'all want to do. Women, it's an issue. If a woman is free like that, having sex with you, and you, then that's when the problem comes in.
What's the problem?
People start to judge the woman. She's a whore. She's promiscuous. She's this. She's that. Well, why is it okay for men and not okay for women?
It is okay for y'all.
It's never okay. It's never okay, but I agree. Because when I've been married with men, that's why.
Hold up for a second.
But we are. Let me say, all right, I jump one.
So the reason why men are quote unquote allowed to do things and not women is because women are held at a pedestal. You're supposed to be queens. You're supposed to be this being that is way better than being out being promiscuous, even though we all do it. So we can look good in the eyes of that. Like nobody wants to see a mom or a woman in a bad light. So it's like, why are you doing this? You are less of yourself. It's not expected for you to do that. Now you can. It's like, it's like, oh, woman empowerment, I can do what's my body. But how does that look? When you look at the mirror and you realize I'm having all of these different sexual partners. How do you... No. But wait, that's all about to finish. It's like, how do you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I have all these partners and so on and so forth. Now me, I wouldn't give a shit. But it's sometimes, and there are certain men, you be like, damn, that's number 7 this week or this month. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's definitely casual sex. It is.
In the week, no, that's.
I'm just being.
Now you being judgmental.
That is casual sex.
That is casual sex.
That's her definition of
definition
casual
at
sex.
this point. But it's like when you start looking at yourself, not to say men don't look at themselves like, damn, I just took down like 4 chicks today. Like, you know what I'm saying? But women, we're supposed to hold women at a different standard. We're supposed to see ourselves at a different standard. That's why it's a double standard. I'm not saying it's okay, but we are.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
So
I like how you put that too.
I agree with that.
I like how you put
Yeah,
that.
I'm new to this. I'm true to this. My fan right
Okay, I see you.
so here's the reason.
Oh shit, you sound like an oracle or something.
Listen, man, I'm about
You ain't know
to
it's Fishburne.
listen. I'm about to drop these
Listen,
bars and put the mic down. So basically, men and women have it harder when it comes to getting sex from the opposite sex. So men have to put in way more work than women do. Women get dick offers all day, every day. Somebody offering them some sex. Men, that's not the case. We have to put work in. So you can't measure body for body when I put in work to knock off 4 Jones and you just put a picture on Instagram and 50 dudes is in your inbox. It's not the same. Like, it's not the same. So the difference is we have to work for the bodies that we get. That's why it's applauded. Y'all bodies just fall at y'all feet. You got to be more selective because you have more opportunity. So that's really the reason. Like,
Wow, that's a good job though. That's true. That's a good way to put it. That's true. That's a good way to put it.
because you have to be more selective. It makes a man a beast. No. So if I got, all right, here we go. We got, if I earned $1 million and you inherited $1 million, are we the same? We are not. That's why people don't like lottery winners moving into their community.
So what that makes me, you're not the same?
Say that again?
I inherited 6 of them.
Right. So I'm gonna tell you the reason is when you put in work for something, there's a different value to it. There's a value for putting work into something versus something being handed to you. Because they have because in order for me to sleep with 20 women, I have to either have money, looks, I gotta have game, I gotta put some.
That's not the truth for everybody.
So hold on. So you're trying to tell. So listen. A 5 woman has the same amount of opportunities as a 10 guy. Yeah. Yes. That's a fact. Like that's a fact.
Anybody can get it. Like,
Listen. I'm gonna say this. No. I'm gonna say this. We gonna. Because listen, this is a good topic, but I'm gonna put some perspective to this. I have a business that's not too far from a hoe strip.
What's the address?
You don't want this address, brother. Not to that one in particular. And this is how I'm gonna prove this point. We are right down the street from a hoe stroll. All right, so that's on 50th in Wyalusing. So if anybody knows, if anybody has ever heard of a blue moon, all right down the street, not too far from here, right? Now listen, I'm gonna tell you, this strip is just as active as any Las Vegas strip, right? But when I tell you it's nothing but zombies and werewolves out there, Joe, and they stay active. I can't imagine how these women are getting customers, but they are loaded. I doubt if we had a street and we had a bunch of bum niggas lined up, smoked out zombie-looking dudes, that women would be pulling up and unclicking the door so they can hop in. So we're not the same, y'all. Y'all get away easier. That's just life. I'm sorry.
What was the question one more time?
So what does that say about men and how y'all value yourselves? Like, yeah. What does that say about y'all?
Can we recap the
We
question?
value to chase and to conquer. So it doesn't really matter. As a guy, no, that's different. I'm talking about from a body perspective. As a man, you are out here trying to conquer things. So you're either trying to conquer financially, you're trying to conquer women, you're trying to conquer things. That's what men do. So it's different when we have a whole bunch of bodies because we conquered those women. We had to do something to get them to sleep with us.
What's the point?
Can you repeat the point?
That's what I was about to say. What I was about to say was, that's kind of predatory though. Because why do we want all those women?
All right. So the question is, why is such a bad stigma on casual sex?
Yeah,
So,
Go ahead, Ish. Let's get her a mic.
So dudes, I don't see a problem with it because I understand. Can you hear me now? Basically with dudes, I get it because guys are taught to, like you said, conquer. So I definitely agree with that. With women, I say you shouldn't try to measure up what these dudes do because you gotta think, as women, we get imprinted when we have sex with men. So if you take on that nigga trait, so why would, if you fuck with a nut nigga or you don't know, why would you want to take on his trait? And then they're going to measure you and look at you because you're going to take it on and people are going to judge you based on that. So I would be selective as a woman and don't nobody want nobody who's been around all the time.
So,
And use that. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying about
So can I just talk about what makes me sick real quick? Because I think that's where this subject is coming from. It's like this national law that men get to do whatever they want. They want, make money. You can make money and be broke and still fuck 10 women.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I say that. But the problem is, it's allowed for y'all. That's why it's a stigma on it. I wanted to find untouched box 20 women men too.
who?
Me.
Why would you want that? So,
I don't want him going all around the earth. I mean, before me. I don't have nothing to do with what you do before me. But I feel like it damages with a future. You can really meet the person that's for you and be so possessed just by the act of sex that you miss it.
So So
I buy you an experience in the bedroom.
So tell me, who has the bigger burden to satisfy the other person in bed? Is it the man or the woman?
Oh, it depends on your
Both.
sexual account.
I think it's
I
both.
think it depends on how sexual.
I-
No. I didn't say no. I said who has a harder task. So is it harder to make a woman come, or is it harder to make a man come?
Whoa, it depends on the
Depends on the person. Depends on the person.
Most of the time, let me say this. Most of the time, it's harder for a woman to come. And I'm going to tell you why. Listen, most of the time, it's harder for a man to make a woman come. I'm going to tell you why. Y'all got so much energy on y'all from all these other whoever. Y'all are not performing. Y'all might be fucking a girl thinking about somebody else. Women feel when y'all having sex, when we're having sex with y'all or having intercourse with y'all, it's a lot more that we're feeling that y'all are not. Y'all just being physical.
So
Y'all, so which means you're not connected to her.
which means we have to have more experience in order to get you to come.
No.
So it's still casual.
Doing it. Having sex with a whole bunch of people doesn't mean that you're reaching your. It doesn't mean that you're even reaching your peak performance. So it's fucking a lot of
It's
people.
still casual.
It's casual sex.
So then, in that point, it's casual. But what I'm saying
No,
is,
what I'm saying is, if we're moving into feelings, is it still casual? It's actually. Most definitely.
yeah,
I think it should be any attachment attached to it.
you don't have to be attached to feel though. You don't have, because I feel like I think feeling gives the greater experience. Like that's what makes you connect who you having sex with. Like, and that happens before either one of y'all bust.
So you can't bust without feeling the man?
Yes. You can, but that's where you gonna put all the work in. It's most. Okay, two things. Listen, I'm gonna say two things real quick. Most women don't orgasm from sex because they don't know their body.
Right.
They have to, and then in an interim, they have to be able to give him cues. Because what people fail to realize is you can have sex with all four of us. All four of us are going to respond differently. So we're going to want a man that is willing to think and realize what it's going to do. But in order for him to do that, you have to know how to orgasm. Because if you don't know your body, you can't teach somebody how to make you come. Now, most women think, oh, I'm not teaching no man to do so. Yes, I am. Because my next partner is going to have to know me. And in order for him to please me, even if it's casual, I'm run up on you, this is how I like it. This is how I'm going to position myself.
And you can't please me like you please everybody else. Just because you got 500 bodies doesn't mean you're a pro. You're not my pro. So let me ask y'all this question. The young lady over here said something about who's going to know how many partners a woman has, unless you're asking a question and she tells you. If she doesn't tell you, how do you know? So why does a woman's value diminish just because she's having casual sex?
Right.
So
Who knows?
but it's,
Who knows?
the problem is that it starts out early on. When a man has sex early, they are congratulated. Your son come to you and he tell you he had sex early, y'all don't say 11, 12 is too early. If your daughter said that to you, you would be devastated. So it is a early on thing for women to be diminished from sexuality. You don't tell teenage girls the same things you do about teenage girls. You tell your son come to you, you don't tell him, son, you can abstain, don't do this. You won't tell your daughter to abstain, not to do certain things. It's already started out from an uneven playing field. Women have sexuality just like men, and I think when people realize that, whether you like it or not, you raising your daughter to be somebody's wife, hopefully, but she gonna come with experiences. You don't want to hear that, but that's the reality.
What about soul ties? Y'all heard of soul ties before? So if a man has 500 bodies, how many soul ties does he now have?
One.
And so now he want to get with a woman. Soul ties is that energy or that connection you have with people that you have. Every time you have sex with them, you're exchanging. Right.
Men soul ties don't work like that.
Is this condom sex or raw sex?
It doesn't really matter, but that raw sex will take you there. That raw sex will take you there. But my question is to the men in the room is if you have 500 bodies
You got all these soul ties, and now you want to come to a woman who got one body with only one soul tie. You don't think you messing up with her energy? Like, so why is it so okay for y'all to be casual and bring that energy to a woman who has not had the same experience?
Can I ask a question about soul ties really quick?
I don't subscribe to soul ties on the man's side. I don't really understand that. I don't really. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. No. I don't subscribe to
I got
that.
a question. Say if, right, you don't, say how he doesn't subscribe to that, and you don't subscribe to that, but y'all both got a bunch of partners. Is it the same if y'all don't believe in it?
It don't matter what you believe in.
It does. It does.
If I believe in it, if I'm having sex with you, and you don't believe it, I still believe it. It's still mine. It's still my vocation.
But you hold yourself to that. But see, you don't have to. That's all I'm saying. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. But what I think that is for men having casual. For one, we are designed differently. Even if we go down to like just the chemistry of men and women, you know, we're able to continue to spread our seeds until we're 100 plus years old. We can have 300 kids in a month. If we had sex with 300 women and all of them got pregnant, we can have 300 children. You can only have one child ultimately per year, unless it's twins or whatever the case may be. So the way we're even designed is different, and it bothers me at times. It's extremely true.
You can have another child right after that.
But not in
But
here.
But not in
it
here,
in
though.
here.
You're not going to the same year.
All right. Is there anybody else that wants to object to that?
To respond.
You know what I mean?
That's him to respond.
Like that. It's science. We can't get around that, right? But my whole thing, my concern is why are women so hell bent on having the similarities of men? Our dynamic is so different. So what is the thing where you want to have everything like a man has? When you have so many different. But that's what it feels like. Just accept the fact that we're different. If you have sex with a lot of men, you're going to be considered a hoe. If you have sex as a lot of sex as a man, you're going to be considered a stud. Some of these things are actually good because it keeps boundaries. I would like to have some sort of boundary for my daughter to say, listen, you are a beautiful young woman. Don't give yourself to everybody. You are more dynamic than that. And yes, I'm going to tell my son, knock him down. You know what I mean? But why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because I would prefer my son to have more experience, so when he does find a woman that he wants, he will be interested in pleasing her and not just getting a quick nut off. I would prefer that.
You don't want your son to value himself?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Value yourself. No, it's not. Value yourself by getting you some ass.
Exactly.
Yes.
So your son's value is now in getting ass. That's his big accomplishment. Not education, not none of those things. Just getting ass.
That's a part of his social. That's a part of his social experience.
You want to hear Mrs. Davis? I want to hear what Mrs. Davis has to say about this.
Do you think there's an age limit on that? Like when you're young, it's okay to be like it, but as you get older, you need to start being more selective and maybe abstaining. Like everything somebody throw at you is not a good idea.
Right. That's why they got baby.
All coochie ain't good coochie.
But you gotta learn that the hard way.
Y'all need to be teaching them sons better because a lot of these young girls say shit. And you wonder why you got baby mama drama, that some kids see you fucking kids.
Or y'all raising the
You
grandkids.
can't my cell phone so you can't see my baby because you did not teach your kid. That's why you did not teach your son. Listen,
That's why you need to
be
experience women.
selective. No, it's not about experience women. You be selective on what you put your penis in because you do not know. You do not know
You put your penis in the condom.
You want to and I'll be the one
Hey,
that
Mo, I like it before the day, right there.
So I think something.
How many people use condoms?
But you're not going to do that. I'm going to teach my son that. Don't put that.
All right. I want to give you a chance. I want to give an opportunity. We have one of our panelists that want to get an opportunity to speak.
So I think what somebody just said kind of is what the issue is, right? And it goes back to the original question and leads us up to where we are now, society. So I think a lot of this is running from society and the view of it. And I really can't even chime in all the way because I'm not of society. I just don't even live my life by the regular norm. And I agree with Jim. We were talking that the way I hold my daughter is what I hold my son to. I have a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and I tell them both the same thing. Now, that's coming from my perspective, but also coming from my upbringing. So I think a lot of it has to do with society, what we see, what we deem to be regular and normal, which is why it's okay for, or why the debate of sexuality and having casual partners is frowned upon when it's a woman, but kind of deemed greatness, right? When it's a man, I think it's just society. It depends on what type of way of life you have, because in my world, it's not okay for anybody, because I do believe in soul ties. And I think it's super important not to allow everybody you come across to have a little piece of you, because every time you encounter somebody, even just sitting here next to these young ladies, that's energy, right? And whether I believe it or not, the universe is real. It doesn't matter if you have a God. The universe is real. The stars is real. And energy is real. So I just think it's a matter of opinion and a matter of upbringing, because I honestly, as I'm sitting here chiming into the conversation, I was just sitting back because I'm like, oh no, I don't know. I don't agree with that. No. And I'm just thinking like, oh, you know what? I think it's the upbringing, because when my mom and father brought me up, that I was the only girl in the household. I have 2 brothers. That was the big thing, is that actually my brothers and I were held to the same standard. Same curfew, same bedtime, same everything. And we were different age groups. I was 7 years older than one, 9 years older than another, but I still had a 9 o'clock curfew along with my brothers. And we still have the same responsibilities. I had to take out the trash just like my brothers. And people were like, why your mom got you taking out trash? You're a girl. But I think it's just upbringing. Yeah.
So that's true to a certain extent. I didn't think about it. When you say that, it's also American culture. When I travel the world, everyone outside of America does not run like that. In Islam, you cannot have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's marriage. In other cultures, you are not having a bunch of sexual identities and soul ties. You're not doing that without people that you are not. Everywhere outside of America, those things are not encouraged. Places in the world, men and women are treated the same. You're supposed to have a wife, whether it's multiple wives. You're not doing things outside of marriage. And so that's different too. It's an American way of thinking. Think those things are okay.
Absolutely. So casual sex is wrong in general. It should be wrong for both parties.
All right, so get back to
No, that's casual sex. What do you like? I'm American.
Can I just say this one thing? It was. I guess it'll tie into what you said earlier and what you said just the other day about men. You said that men don't really feel or they don't get attached during sex, right? But then we all agreed or something. What did you say?
I just said
They do. Okay. So, like Jay said, the universe is going to do what it's going to do. I feel like guys carry women around energetically the same way y'all carry around STDs. Y'all are not affected by it. Y'all don't know until y'all go. So if the woman that you're sleeping with doesn't indicate that something is wrong, y'all will go fuck whoever next, because y'all feel fine. That's the same way you carry a woman when you have sex with her. And even if you're having casual sex with other people, trust me when I tell you, whether this woman is saying it or not, a woman can always feel another woman in a man's energy. That's what it is. And so when y'all have casual sex, we're competing with women that you already slept with, and we know that. Not even if we want to do it directly, like we might be trying to enjoy our time there with you right now, but if we notice you somebody like Tupac you want to get around, we know that in your head, we're competing with whoever's there.
Okay, question. So, what about if y'all having casual sex? What are you doing?
So, yeah.
No.
It does.
Or even better.
I'm not a person that's having casual sex.
But look, even so, this is why another reason why you're making the point that it's more imperative for women to be more restrained. You said the man is carrying around all these women, blah blah blah, but he can't give you any of that stuff if you just say, "Nah, I'm cool."
That's true. But we talking about when the act takes place.
So that's what it comes back to. Y'all are the gatekeepers of sex. So why are we supposed to be responsible for?
Both parties are responsible.
No. We are responsible for if sex happens. You guys are the responsible. No sex happens unless it's rape without a woman's consent, correct? All right, then, so how you tell? That's like if a burglar walking past 10 cribs and the doors is open, you like, nah, burglar, you got to sit back and leave those doors open. No, you going to burglarize the house.
But we're talking about after the act is allowed. We're not talking about the what is.
We talking about
And
casual
we're talking
sex.
about why.
And the difference between why casual sex is different for men and women.
Because the standard of y'all just being able to do anything is okay. And it's
We're not able to do anything. Y'all are allowing us to have
whether you allow, we're talking about the standard view, right? We're talking about the standard view on, is it okay for women to have a bunch of bodies, or is it okay for men to have a bunch of bodies?
wanna have a bunch of bodies?
No, but
So what's the
the
problem?
answer is
But
men.
do you not want to have a bunch
Because
of bodies
even
because it's
men
not socially acceptable? Maybe they do have a bunch of bodies, but they know society
Well,
will
say
judge
that.
them.
There are women
Say
who
it.
want
Who
to.
wants to fuck
But
about
there,
it?
Yeah, but
but
they
there
get
are
judged
women that
differently.
do.
Exactly, that's why we have this conversation.
Right,
So I get how
that's
it basically leads to the word
But-
women.
It's not.
It is.
A general
But
public.
it's really for women. It's not for men because clearly it doesn't matter.
That's just like, you know, for the first time, you know how people be like, why women don't have sex on the first date? Well, a lot of women don't have sex on the first date only because they don't want, if they do,
They want to be
you know,
judged.
real quick, because of judging, and a lot of men talk too much. A lot of y'all will get more pussy and more nudes if y'all didn't
Ain't lying.
Because you talk. And I'm saying, because just because I went to on the first date doesn't mean anything. I'm feeling you. I'm digging you.
Right.
And then I'm like, damn, you got the vibe. And I'm like, damn, he alright. He look
Right.
alright, you know what I'm saying?
But you like, damn, I gotta wait till tomorrow because I can't fuck him tonight. He gotta wait. He gotta wait.
He not like only because it's like, I'm not a 90 day
As a man, you always
Yeah.
gotta have sex.
I'm not trying to say you don't.
You do.
Yeah, they trying to say you don't. That's the difference.
Your value is only as a man is what you can provide, what
Exactly.
you
That's why it's
that's any
different.
man.
As a man, you gotta bring something to the table to get between her legs. It depends on. But it doesn't matter if he's a bum. To you, it matters what she sees from him that allows her to give up the
But
game.
it depends because it might be like sometimes we don't like I'm fucking like sometimes we know what we want right off the bat.
We all know what we want right
what
off
I'm
the
saying is you see something in that man. It's not like you don't see anything. A dude has sex, you do not see anything. No future, no nothing. I'm just smashing. That's
Some
it.
women do think like that though. Some women don't see a fine ass man be like,
He can get it.
Fine
He
man.
can get it. You know, I don't care how much money he got in his pocket.
Fine man
I
is
don't care what he got going on.
You just missed the
it's
point.
women out here that want to just sleep with people just like y'all do.
Missed the point. The
So
fine
do
man
it.
is
If
something.
you want to do
No,
it,
but the reason why we don't because we
no,
are
ain't no reason why we don't do it. Do what you want to do.
We gonna lie anyway.
But that's my whole point. Listen, this is what I gotta say. This is what man or woman, but this is what I gotta say. Regardless if you're a man or you're a woman, you know what I mean? Be an adult. Do what you want to do. See, your problem is you give people an opportunity to judge you. See, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm going to do what I want to do, and you're not giving me an option to judge what I'm doing because I'm not even going to ask you. See, that's the problem. A lot of y'all want to be promiscuous and do whatever you want to do, and it's nothing wrong. See, it's a place for everybody. It's a place for the promiscuous woman. It's a place for the woman that has esteem. It's a place for every person. So just do what feels comfortable for you. Y'all worried about society. But you're society.
But the promiscuous women want to be the wives.
And sometimes they end up being a wife.
Why not? Some of the most promiscuous women can be some of the best wives.
I'm about to say sometimes they end up being a wife.
Just saying.
Keep it quiet. I
So-
bet you're not wifey material if your husband find out.
And I think
That's the truth.
y'all worried about society too much.
With that, though, at the end of the day,
It's not their business
You know what I
though.
mean?
what you want to do, you make the decision of what you want to do. And that be that.
All right. So we gonna move on to our next topic. That was a great topic, by the way. You know what I mean? Great topic, by the way. Not sure what we got with it, but we never get nowhere. But it's good now, though.
Let's go, Jen. Let's go, Jen.
I was waiting for you.
When you gonna get on this side?
This is like.
I'm about to say the same thing, y'all.
Hold on, put that light on. Put that light on it.
More, you kind of said it. You kind of said it first. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the infatuation with wanting to do what men can do. And I'm not asking like you or you like specifically. I'm just trying to figure out like what's the infatuation with that? Feminism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because I'm sorry, I take a lot of pauses. Because like if you want to fuck a lot of niggas, right? Yeah. Like fuck a lot of niggas. But don't get upset when the world kind of treats you as if you fuck a lot of niggas.
No, man, just talk to fucking.
But it's not. But listen, wait.
You got something
But
to do with that.
but it's not.
You gotta pick your nigga.
But hold on.
Say nothing, it won't be
Let
a
me
problem.
finish though, because this is the thing. This is why. Again, Maul kind of says something in terms of like adulthood, like being an adult. To me, being an adult is recognizing that you have a choice with every single thing that you do. You make a choice, and then you live with the choice that you made. Boom. No matter what anybody says, because at the very moment where you start giving a fuck about what other people say, you're no longer an adult, or you no longer have an adult mentality. Because what a real adult does, if they do exactly what they want to do, it shouldn't matter what anybody else feels about them.
That has a caveat.
Which is what?
Because you have to, if you are a loving individual and you care about somebody next to you, you're supposed to care about how they feel about you. It's a caveat. It's a small caveat to that.
But we also talking about casually fucking. If you love the person that you casually fucking, then maybe y'all shouldn't be casual no more.
That's what I know.
Not that part.
You wouldn't give a care, you don't care what other people think of you. But as an adult, as a caveat to that is, when you're an adult, you do care what other people think.
There's a small percentage of people that you care.
Listen, I care about what Jen thinks of me.
Right.
I care about what Bank thinks of me. I love these people. You know what I'm saying? As an adult, I do care.
So
say the people you love.
Make choices and decisions that will not make those people that you care about look at you in a weird way. But listen, this is what I'm saying. I just want to, because I'm going to go back to holding the camera.
As an adult, you should not. He said as an adult. He didn't say as sexual. He said as an adult, you should not care what other people think about you.
But we were talking about casual sex though. So as an adult, if you're having casual sex, you shouldn't really care.
I could tell you exactly what I'm talking about. I was talking about it under the umbrella of sex. That's the conversation about. But even in a super general sense, if I care about what Mark thinks, if I care about what Sharif thinks, if I care about what Maxima thinks, right? I still have a choice. I have two choices in front of me. Yo, if I pick this, they gonna look at me funny, and I care about them, so I don't want them to look at me funny. Choice B. I love them still, but I still gotta live my own life, and I don't give a fuck what they think because I know because they care about me, they still gonna love me after whatever I did. But people can love you and still look at you at the decision that you made, like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing?
But if they redirect you and help you get to the point where they're upset.
But at the end of the day, though, my main point, and I'm gonna stop here. My main point is, if you're more concerned about how people are going to look at you based on the decision that you made, you probably need to focus more on the decision that you make. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like the thing is, like people want to do things and just be free afterwards. That's not how the planet works. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just not how things work. Like everything has a consequence or a reaction. Sometimes it can be positive reinforcement, sometimes it can be negative. People want to do quote unquote negative things and not get negative reinforcement for it. Like that's not the world.
Can I ask y'all a question? How does a woman get labeled as a hoe? So, all the men in this room, have y'all ever had a conversation with your homie about smashing the same chick?
That's not true. Yes. That's a true
So
story.
y'all label her as
as a hoe, right? So how not? If they're both saying, "Oh, she easy, I smash," she pass her, I'm pass her to you, man, or I'm passing to you. So now she becomes a hoe in your eyes,
Sometimes
right?
it's an endorsement. Sometimes it's an endorsement. It's not necessarily calling them a hoe. It's saying like you should try it too. I mean, it's not necessarily
So let me ask this my follow-up question. But this is my follow-up question. Now, are you ever going to take Shorty seriously?
No.
Why not? Why not? Because now she's a whore. So your men, one of your moms are the ones who label women as a whore.
That's not true. That's not true.
How does she become identified as a whore?
Listen, let me
Let me ask you this question again.
Yes, ma'am.
How does she get identified as a whore? If she's not telling anybody her numbers or who she's having sex with, how does anybody know?
You ready for this? How do niggas that can fuck good get so many referrals themselves? Everybody talking about who can fuck good. That's everybody. Yes, facts. It is facts. It is facts. But what I'm saying is, if you're fucking me and my homies, you're not displaying relationship material at the time. You might tighten up. You might find a lure. And I might see you later and be like, you know what, you was good folks. You were just fucking a little earlier or whatever. But let's talk. Now you done seen the whole another way. And your actions now speak to that of someone that wants to be in a relationship and I may be interested. You know,
So you can be whore yourself. So wait, so a whore can become a wife later on down the line.
Absolutely.
Okay, who would consider her as a wife later on down the line? Knowing she smashed all your homies.
Go ahead, Snoop.
You got too many soul ties. Fuck that. What happens when you open the marriage? What happens when we want to call it casual sex, right? But we already know you marry people, things change, bodies change. Something may have your husband may end up with diabetes. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? But your husband may agree to. Y'all might decide that you want to go to a springer club once a month. Who knows what you and your husband are doing behind closed doors? Besides the other people who are members in the springer club. So is she a hoe then? When we doing it together? No. So what I'm saying is it's the same thing because I'm getting multiple bodies that night too. But we okay with it because don't nobody know besides the other members. So what's the difference? Because I'm a hoe that night, but I'm still gonna hoe with you and cookie you Sunday dinner. So what's the difference?
You know, can I be honest with you? Don't get
You're holding for me.
Can I ask you a question? Ladies, how many times have y'all ever been in a room and then two men walk up that you smash and they're together and you be like this?
No, you say what's up? Keep it G.
I definitely keep it G about that.
Your first thought is, oh shit, did they say something? I said, hey, how you doing? And I had to be honest, I'm speaking from experience. I was like, no.
Be that boy.
And me, I'm flicking it up. Hey y'all,
That be me, yes.
hey. But it was I don't care how casual.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna respond to that. This is all right. So listen. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? With these two guys, were you with a mate or something like that, or were you alone or friends?
It was casual.
Okay, it was casual. Okay. The reason why I asked that is because if a guy, let's just say I come into the same situation, and let's say I have my girlfriend with me.
don't know how to act.
No, that's not true. I'm gonna tell you like this. No, they're not. If I come in there and I got a girl with me, and I'm walking through the same bar, hey, what's up, y'all? And I see a girl, even if it's one girl that I dealt with.
They gonna act weird.
That one girl is going to send a signal to the girl that I'm with, unbeknownst to me. Now, when I go to sit down, my girl will be like, what's up with you and that girl right there? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But see, that's the snitching that y'all do. We ain't in there. If we written, we're not trying to tell your man about who did what. No, we're not sending no signals.
Jamal, it's like what I said earlier. A woman always knows another woman's energy.
That's what you tell me. Let's be clear. We know it's not. You can tell immediately. We don't be telling. We just be like, we know your type. We know your body type. We be like, that's the one.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question to the guys? So to your point earlier, whichever one of y'all said something about a room full of guys having sex with this one girl, right? So I do believe it has to do with upbringing too, like you mentioned earlier. But my thing is, if y'all are in the room, 10 of y'all, 10 guys in a room with a woman, why isn't it bothering any of y'all that she's like that? Like, do y'all think about the fact that y'all are making it okay? She might be completely broken, but a piece of her needs to feel valued, even at a lowest point. And y'all are allowing this act. So
predatory.
You listen to her playing. You missing, yeah, like you playing and missing the point. Like, what I'm saying is, all right. So I know we might all be different religions here. In a Christian household that I was raised in, the man is the lead. So if the man is the head, and he would raise his daughter to a certain standard, why isn't that practiced outside the house? It's like y'all got two sets of rules. Okay, yeah, be a good man. Okay, yeah, be a good daughter. Don't be a hoe, but then you tell your son to go fuck a bunch of girls. So it's like, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, this is what gets circulated. This is the bullshit that gets circulated between different households. It's okay in some instances, it's not okay in others. It's either okay or it's not. I don't care if it's your daughter or not. It doesn't matter.
I don't think that's.
It's because community-wise, we're not even making the changes to make this better. Like, nobody's interrupting this shit. It just keeps being made okay over and over again.
But listen, Jen, like, it's not. You know how it's like. It's none of men's business to police a woman's vagina or her sexual escapades. Is also like that would also fall under your umbrella. Like, I can't tell you what you shouldn't be doing. I can tell you what you should be doing. Like, all I can really go off of is the person that you showed me right now in front of me. And if that person is showing me that you want to fuck, like, who am I to say that? Nah, you shouldn't fuck me. Like, if anything, my decision is I shouldn't fuck you.
Right.
But it's not. If I'm attracted to you in a physical, sensual way, like, who am I? Like, why don't y'all should do that with the same energy? Like, I can't tell you to not fuck me. The same way I can't tell you that you should fuck me.
But what I'm saying
or that
is,
you shouldn't fuck him or him or him.
Right.
And I just had the actual question I had, since we all want to like be the same and shit. Like, how many dudes in here like smashed over like 20 chicks? Yeah. How many women smashed over like 20 dudes? That's why it's different. But the hesitancy and just the mere answering of the question is like we know that it's different, but we sit here and we have these never-ending conversation about why it's not different. But we know why, and it's cool. Like, we understand it, and y'all understand it. Like, so why can't we just?
and
I do like the fact that protecting the sanctity of the black woman and holding her to a higher standard. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with holding a woman at a higher standard. And that's the best way I really heard it being put. And like, this is a fair way, because ultimately, that's honorable. When you wear a wedding dress, and pure doesn't mean virginity. But I'm just saying, listen, ain't nobody trying to get to that standard. But my whole thing is, I'm okay with us holding women to a higher standard in that regard. And even down to the fact that someone has said, well, why can't we have sex with a whole lot of women? I mean, a whole lot of men. You can. And some might say, well, why do you? It's almost like the N-word. I don't like when white guys say, well, hey, why can't, everybody else is using the N-word. Why can't I use the N-word? My question is, nigga, why do you want to fucking use the N-word? Why? That's my question. So why do you want to have this freedom of having sex with everybody? If that's what you feel, like I said, just do it as an adult. But if that's not how you feel, don't feel like we should be able to walk around. No, if it ain't true, it ain't true. If it is you, then rock out. And we're going to respect you when you stand on the moves that you make. And that's the problem. You want to do stuff and not stand on stuff. Go out there with your head held high after you just sucked 3 dicks in a row. I'm just saying. Because I was my pants set my chest so high. And I got some damn good.
Like, I can respect you as a person, as a human, but the fact that whatever actions or whatever role led you to do whatever actions you did, I don't have to admire or revere you as my woman. So I can respect you as a person and be like, fuck no, I would never do that. I still respect you. That's not disrespect. I asked this last time, like, what boundaries are men really allowed to have without it being labeled as like shame or some shit? Like, niggas, you talking about standards or, oh, I shouldn't fuck her because she's fucking 10 guys last week. I would never disrespect her in such a way.
I think that's the thing, though.
But I'm saying, like, so we going, that's standard, right? So if you tell me I can have a standard in that situation, why can't I have a standard on my own volition of just seeing somebody and how they move and like know that I don't want that to be a part of my life at all? I respect her as a person. I don't need that in my life.
I think that's important, but I think also what I'm kind of hearing is the fact that integrity doesn't, fall short no matter what. So if you have a standard and you say, you know what, it's not appropriate to do this, it's not appropriate to do that, then that doesn't, dismay or get persuaded no matter what, whether you're a man or a woman. So that comes down to how we raise our kids as well, right? But the second thing I was going to say is, I really think, and it's just me in my own world, because I know I'm not a regular world, I think people look too deep into somebody's past. Like, why do you care what I did in 1992? Because I'm not the person who I used to be.
Yeah.
If you would have called me at 22, no. If you would have called me at 22, I wanted to fight everybody. Anybody who looked at me, let's go, throw hands. Like, I'm not the same person. I don't have the same demeanor. I don't have the same attitude. I don't respond the same. My mindset's not the same. I was broke back then. I'm not broke now because I had more financial responsibility. So, like, even though I feel like I've always made money in my life, I just upgraded my life, my mindset was different. So the 22 version of me is not the 40 version of me. So why do you care what I did when I was 22?
So here's why the past matters. So I work in finance, right? And the way that we determine someone's ability to pay is by looking at the way they paid in the past. Right? No, yeah. We're looking at the credit report. Yeah, we're looking at the credit reports. That's a 7-year period.
It's a 7-year period, but you're not looking back in 1992 when I got that eviction.
Right. So here's what you have to do. And if you don't want them to look in the past, you have to be able to. No. It's not freezing. And it doesn't. Yeah, and it doesn't go away. It should be a conversation between the person that you're with. This is who I was back in the day. This is the reason I was like this. These are the steps I took to change my mindset, and here's where I am today. Not just, oh, I'm here today, and you don't need to know what I was doing in the past. I get to judge the past. Like, what are you talking about?
That's like me saying, yeah, I had 50 bodies, so no, I'm not telling you I had one.
But if I find out, then we got a problem. So I just said the dudes was talking. If all these niggas talking, it's 50 niggas going to be happy up. These 50 niggas all over the country, though. Not the way you talk. But no, when you go on Facebook in a relationship with Basima, niggas in my inbox, yo, you know I took Basima down, right? You know I took Basima down, right? You know I took Basima. 60 niggas, and you told me it was 2? You got her. Yeah, amen.
Debbie, listen, I get it. I definitely get that, but let me say this as well. Just like you look back in the past for the finance and stuff like that, everything is not going to show up. You're not going to get 100% truth from nobody, let's be honest, right? So you can look at that most recent history, but if that individual man or woman has elevated, has changed, and even took a new leaf on life, why are you, like, I'm not judging you because you got a misdemeanor for some weed back in, so why are you judging me on that? Like, well, damn, I don't really know what I'm doing in my car. You got a misdemeanor.
I want to respond to you. I want to I wanted to respond to your question directly because we talked about this like on a live before. And I think to me personally, it's a red flag when people are hesitant to share their experiences and what they've been through, right? Because in every other facet of life, your past has molded to who you are right now today, sitting in that seat, right? So your childhood matters, how you were brought up, how you were parented, if you had one parent or two parents, the relationships you had with your mom or your pop, if you was raised by your parents or raised by your grandparents, what environment you were raised in. Was you raised in the hood? Was you raised in the burbs? Did you go to private school? Did you go to public school? What's your medical history? Do you have schizophrenia? Let me finish. Do you have schizophrenia? Do you have any other kind of mental illnesses or disorders? Not casual. We don't want to get into this. I don't know if those are rhetorical, but I'm willing to.
So I was gonna say to you, like, if you change, there's nothing wrong with unpacking. Oh. Hello. All right. It's nothing wrong with unpacking. If that's what you used to be, that's just what it was. It is no big deal. But no, I was asking that. You shouldn't lie about it. Unpack it, sister, and give people a choice. No.
It's back to standing on shit. Yeah, that was me, but I'm here now. Y'all got a problem with standing on your shit. You want to lie about things and go to get the stuff. You're so nervous. Now you're nervous and you're running. One more thing. One more thing, because I wasn't finished this time, but one more thing, like, again, for me personally, I see when we have these conversations about relationships and love and all that, right? A lot of people, not just women, but a lot of people want to find that fairy tale love where someone loves you in totality, loves the entirety of you.
Yeah.
That's impossible for me to do if I don't know your entire story.
Right, absolutely
You
true.
know what I mean? So like, I think that, well, I think it's irresponsible for people to say that the past doesn't matter. Like it definitely matters. It doesn't mean that you are today who you used to be, but it still matters and it still holds weight because maybe I want to know the muddy waters that you came from to show me your resilience. Maybe I want to see how persistent you are. Maybe I want to see the beautiful rose that came from the concrete.
Right, absolutely. So, one, I never said anything about lying. I don't promote lying in a relationship, right? I'm in a relationship and we don't lie. We have an open book story. And I'm a public speaker, so I don't lie to any of my community and people I talk to. I tell my story, so I didn't say it from a personal standpoint. But what I'm saying is talking to the gentleman here from his original question of the casual sex thing. Like she said, you're not having these conversations as you're putting the rubber on. Like, come on, let's be honest, right? Now, they may not even put the rubber on, right? So I'm coming from that standpoint, but my other thing is a lot of people aren't having very honest conversations because I could be total honest with you, but are you being honest with me as well? A lot of people leave stuff out. Let's be transparent, right? My question of it is, and what I'm trying to get to is, if you want that person, there's something about him or her that gravitates you towards them, right? My thing is, and just being transparent and being honest, we're having an honest conversation. All the things that you just said, that's lovely. I did that unpacking in a relationship I'm in, but if I don't see a relationship with him, we're not going to go through all of it. No, I'm talking about casual sex. No. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay, again, we all have our own truth, so I don't really know. I can only speak from my standpoint. I feel like a lot of times when people do stuff in their past, that's about time. Listen. So say you would date intentionally, right? You would date intentionally, right? Let me just.
No, I'm
So, all
sorry.
right. I was about to use an example, so. All right. Not yet. Come on. So, say you finally come across somebody, you can check all your boxes off about this person. And because of what they present to you now in 2023, you're going to assume, based on what you see, what their past was like, unless they tell you. So, say y'all got close, but didn't really know anything about each other, but felt like y'all could take on a relationship and got married. And then all of a sudden, this unfolding happens. And now you're judging the person that you with. When it's bad, because all the shit that I went through brought you right here. And you like this version now. So what's the judgment about?
You lied. You lied. Next question. You lied.
It wasn't a lie.
And you lied to me for a long time. And I had to find out. So I'm questioning. So you didn't go up. You know what I mean? You just saying your
I'm saying two bodies.
two bodies.
I got a question.
We're gonna move on to our next question. We had the last question was from the sisters, I believe.
It was for a brother.
It was your turn. Okay, oh, that's fine. So it's your turn to ask the question.
Okay, so I'm gonna change the narrative a little bit because I'm thank you, love. I'm an entrepreneur, so I've come across this many times over the years. I've been in business 13 years. So we talked a lot about sex. I want to change the narrative a little bit. So what is it like for men and women who are in different fields? Meaning, like, you do one job, she does another. Maybe she works for the government, but you work for UPS or FedEx. Why is it, in my experience, that seems to be an issue, like a cross barrier or an obstacle for a lot of people, because if you're a worker, she needs to be a worker. Or if he's an entrepreneur, he doesn't understand, like, the worker mentality. Does anybody get what I'm saying? Yeah, like equality of money, right? Why not? So you okay with your woman making more than you? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, men have a problem when the woman in the household makes more than them. Yes, that's the question. Yes. Yes, do men have issues with women making their money?
No, because
I was being honest, y'all.
Listen, because listen, they got an ego.
Hey, Sean, how you doing, Sean?
If you make 100,000 and I make 50,000, I'm still spending more money than you. In order for me to, if you require that I push you the proper way, if you require that I think so, now everybody don't require that. Everybody don't require that. If you require that I date you and court you and get to know you in a proper way that a gentleman should, if we are so traditional that people say it to y'all, you're not really spending no bread. You're not. So why would a nigga really get, why would that type of guy, not a nigga, why would that type of man really give a fuck about the type of money that you bring to the table? Because it's not about, I'm sorry, it's not about the money that you bring to the table, it's what you contribute. Those are two totally different things. You could bring a master's degree, you could bring 150,000, you could bring it, but what you putting on the fucking shit? What are you contributing? Right? Like we could go out on 10 dates, but if I pay 8 of them, why do I give a fuck about your salary?
Right.
You're not using your salary. Use your shit. Use it to the point where I don't have a problem with it, and now we can have that conversation.
Wait, hold on. Listen. Oh.
That shit is done anyway.
Oh, man, it's the Carol man feels about that.
Charles used to do done. They done.
And I this is my last thing, right? And it's not. I would love for my woman to have the most amazing accolades and the most amazing plaques to hang on the wall, and degrees and PhDs and money in the bank and all that, right? However, if that's gonna
change how she looks at me or change how she treats me or change how she moves around me, that's the part I wouldn't like. It don't really got shit to do with the money. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you've heard when people get money, it just emphasizes who they are. Right? When people get power, it just emphasizes who they are. And truth be told, like maybe you're just a shitty person, but you wasn't able to wield your shittiness because you didn't have no resources behind it. But now that you got the resource, and that's a black thing. Like a lot of niggas don't even want to be successful because they want to be successful. A lot of niggas want to be successful so they can shit on other people. And I think some, I ain't gonna say a lot, I think some women do that and then call it, oh, men are intimidated by me. No, men are sick of you. Niggas are sick of how you treat them.
Wow.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Because guess what? We back to the situation of is a man intimidated by a woman or female partner that may be making more money or whatever the case may be. But that is interesting. Like, one thing I can't stand is people that can't handle small successes. That irks the hell out of me. Now you got a little success, and now you poking your chest out and you acting different. Keep that same energy with me when you ain't have a dime. That's how I'm moving. Hear what I'm saying? I heard what you said. But that's what happens a lot of times, because as soon as I get it down, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for my wife. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for the family, where I'm going to take it, something exotic, or, just to see that smile on her face. And I'm not sure if women are thinking the same thing when they get their bag. You know what I mean? Because guess what? Y'all be stacking. It's not everybody, and I got a microphone for you too. But y'all be stacking, you know what I mean? Which I appreciate that. Because if you got the right woman on a rainy day, she gonna hold you down. She gonna go right in that stash. She like, where the hell you get that from, nigga? I'm throwing you both. But what I'm saying is, when we get a couple hours and we into our woman, we trying to give you the world. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the same way. We got a microphone out here.
All right, so what happens is, the reason, in my opinion, the reason why some men, it's not that they're intimidated, is once certain women, not all, once certain women get a bag or get to $1, they start looking at their man different. Their actual character actually comes out. So I remember Gabrielle Union, she was married and she was making more money than her husband, and she started demoralizing him. Oh, I made more money than him. He was nothing. And sometimes a lot of women put value in the money instead of into the person. Now, men are more willing to bring in a woman that has less than and bring them up, but there's not many women that are willing to bring a man up. Like, now you can see a man with potential, but you can also see a bum too. There's a difference between taking care of a man and you see something, you know what? I see him, and I know what he can be to invest in and take care of until they get there. So that's where it comes. I don't think a lot of men have an issue with it. It's just a lot of men, it's just like a lot of women be like, oh, I make more money than him. He ain't shit. And then also, that brings in that 50-50 conversation too, because it's like, oh, I make more money than him if a man has 50, we pay 50-50, he a roommate, etc. So they demoralize men when you should do what makes sense in your household. You should not look less than a man because he makes less than you. Is he pulling his weight? Is he doing what he needs to do? And then if you're making more, are you putting the man that you claim you love on to make more? Now, I can see if he was not trying to be better. That's one thing. But if you can invest in him and do things to make him better, then boom, what's the problem, Shorty? But that's the problem.
That's a great point. I want to pass it right over here to the red. That's right. You had something to say, Mother Love?
No, I was just saying that I have no problem. Y'all talking about this things or whatever. I have no problem with being taken care of. All day long, I ain't gonna front. The rules is the rules. Let me go back. I was just gonna say something about the other thing. The rules is the rules. Listen, women are looked at a certain way when they sleep with a bunch of people. men or not. That's okay. The rules is the rules. I didn't make them, and I'm okay with the way that they are. I'm just gonna make sure that I do my part not to be out the street. That's it. Coming to this, I like to be taken care of. I still save my money. I make sure that I got me a stash. If and ever my wife ever needed, I got us. Hands down. I'm always gonna make sure that we good. We're gonna get all these things that we can get. But at the end of the day, I'm okay that she takes care of me, and I'm good with that.
Amen.
Plain blank.
Amen. And I wanted to add this too for the sisters that are making more than your men. The one thing I can admire is, and we going back to, keeping that same energy. The one thing that can catapult a man is a good woman. You can find a man, and it can be the opposite. You can find a man that's broken. He's torn down. He's beat up. He's lost. And from the nurturing of a woman, he can come all the way back. He can come all the way back. So those women that have made it to the top, those women that have achieved a certain level of height of financial stability, then where's your legacy? Who have you brought up? Who have you nurtured? Who can you say that with my touch and with my love, forget your money? That ain't the best thing about a woman. Stop it. Stop it. My grandma never made no money, and I love her to death. And she had the most love, and she can bring you up from any situation. Just from a hug and a meal. And y'all putting y'all focus on the wrong shit. And that's why we don't value it. Because you can have all that money and we can see right through it. You cold. We ain't want had nothing to do with you. And ain't nobody intimidated behind your cold ass. So you should be thinking about, what can I leave in my legacy? How can I help to build my man or my partner or my mate? That's what you should be thinking. That's what the gold is. That's what the diamonds is. That little paper you got with them dead white boys on it, that don't mean nothing to us. So we gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
We got that? We got this now, Mike?
Why is there so much disconnect in the Black community? Oh, is it? Oh. I'll hold my question.
Thank you, Queen.
Yes, Queen.
Yes, Queen.
Anybody want to comment?
It's coming. This will be quick because I don't think anybody's going to answer. What are some things that you need to work on to become a better partner?
You talking about self-reflection? Oh, now.
Patience, right here, patience.
Accountability. You talking about accountability? Okay.
Yeah, to answer your question, yeah, that's a good question, first of all. Who said that? That's a good question. That's a hell of a question. And so, kind of related to you and to him at the same time, I know for me it's patience, because I have to realize that everybody doesn't the same way that I move. So being in a relationship, I have to I know patience is the thing I'm working on, because, everybody just doesn't, move at the same pace. So that's my thing, is patience.
So let me.
I really, you know what? Listen, I trust God in all things that I do, right? So I pray over us, I pray over our household, and I literally, because my mom was a praying woman, I just talk to God all day, every day. Like, I'm working on my patience. I'm working on my patience with my kids, because that's a relationship too. I'm working on my patience, patience with my partner. But really, how I work on it is really just through prayer and practice. Like, I'm just.
What do you like? What do you practice? Like,
I count. Listen, I have systems. Like, no, yeah, like what was the father name? Because I do it, the 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I really do that. It's so crazy because I have, a lot going on. So, yeah, I count, I pray, I go into the bathroom and take a moment to myself. And I really just talk to myself. And I really just talk things out. Like, I have to realize, and I've already realized, but I have to practice and remind myself that when I expect somebody to move, whether it's my daughter, my son, my man, that they don't move at the same pace, the same urgency that I have. So it's really just prayer and practice. And how do I practice it? It's just every day, every moment, I'm just taking it and trying to learn from it and going from there. It's an everyday process because my name is Go Getter, so I don't wait on nothing to nobody. I'll be ready to go at all times, and I just have to remind myself that my 6-year-old daughter don't move on my time. My 13-year-old son don't move my time. My grown-ass man don't move my time. And I have to check myself sometimes, like, it's you, not them.
Do you allow your man to check you?
Oh, hell yeah. He got to be able to check me. I can't do weakness. Like, you got to be able to check me and tell me when I'm maybe stepping out of line. That's very important. I believe that the leader is him. So, God-fearing, just the ability to control the household and the narrative, what's going on and how things are going is super important. So I'm very fortunate in that area because he does that.
Why do you feel like you like the ability to check yourself?
I don't like the ability to check myself because checking myself is part of my practice of learning patience.
All our kitchen, please.
So I don't lack the ability, but I just, again, like I'm ready to move at all times. So I just have to, I find myself checking myself a lot, if that makes sense. I don't have the inability to do it. I just find myself doing it a lot, even in partnerships or business. I'm like, you didn't send an email yet. Where's the email? Just, just how I am. But I find myself checking myself a lot, you know what I mean? Because it's just something that I'm willing to work towards, and I'm doing that on a regular basis. That's why when he asked the question, I already was on it. I was like, patience. I'm working on it. It is what it is.
I was going to answer my own question. But if you want to, you can go ahead. So one of the things that I figured that I needed to work on was running when the relationship got tough. So I loved the relationship in the beginning. Everything is great, butterflies, all that kind of stuff. Then at the first sign of any not bliss, I'm like, no, I don't need this, I'm out. So that was something that I worked on and kind of got past it. And I understand, like, I have to communicate. I got to work through the things that we're not seeing eye to eye on. And what I'm learning is it's a quick conversation and that you're over with. Like, it isn't even that big a deal. So you would have threw away something that might have been nice for just a little bit of inconvenience. So that's something I work on. It's a conscious effort that I make all the time. Like, just a little inconvenience with a conversation might be something that you can kind of keep moving forward from.
Let me ask you a question. Have you identified why you developed that trait, or what trauma may have caused that trait?
So, and I talked about this on our podcast. I think it had to do with the fact that the way I was brought up. So I was raised by my mom and my grandma. My mom was young. My dad died when I was young. And looking back now, I could tell that my mom didn't really want to be a mom. She did everything that she could, but it wasn't the nurturing, loving type of environment that you would expect from a mom who really wanted to be a mom. So I was lucky before my mom passed away, to actually kind of rebuild our relationship and get to a point where we could have conversations. And we kind of talked about it. But it was like I was just sitting at home one day, like, damn, I just be tripping. Like what is going on? So yeah, it was definitely, my mom, and then my grandma was very, very, I don't want to call her. Can I call her a narcissist? Can I call her a narcissist? No, listen, me and my grandma went at it. The last time I saw my grandma, we literally argued in the middle of everybody in the family. Because I'm the only guy, I'm the only man in the entire family after my grandpa passed away. And I just wasn't going to allow that type of behavior. Like, you're not just going to son me. It's not just happening. So
she's grandson.
She's trying to. I'm just not letting it happen. Like, you owe me a certain amount of respect as a man. I'm not a little boy anymore. And you can't just do and say whatever you want and think I'm just going to sit back and allow it. It's just not going to happen. So her touch as the person who brought me up definitely had a lot of, shaping into who I am as a man. But I'm still that dude, so it worked out in the end.
So now we see that why it's important for us to get backstory on people. And that was just one aspect of his life. But it brought us closer to an understanding of, you know what I mean, why he is so tripped out how he is. No, I'm messing with you. But that is very important because it draws closer and it gives us a connection, right, wrong, or indifferent. You know what I mean? We can build relationships with people sometimes based on how imperfect their life was. You know, like I admire my father, and sometimes I had talks with him just about how his upbringing was, and it was very hard and very rough. He had an abusive household, you know, that he had to endure between his mother and his father, and you know, he never really had a relationship with his dad, but we have such a great relationship, and I just find that amazing. Like what made you be different? Because for all practical purposes, you could very well be well within your right of being an alcoholic, abusive, you know what I mean, narcissistic dad like your father was. But something in you just wanted to be different. And I find that interesting. So even in our past, even in our struggles, you know, it takes so much pressure to create a diamond that your past is not as horrible as you will allow somebody to feel like it is. And that's when we go back to not allowing anybody to judge you for your situation and standing on and being comfortable in who you are and what you come from. So that's good. All right, one of the sisters on what you could do to be better in a relationship.
Not being. What you say? No. I'm working on my patience. I'm also working on how I speak and how I word things. You know, some people take your delivery the wrong way. You might have, you know, this is an example of what, like text messages. You might send a text message with all sincerity, no shade behind it, and the person might receive it a different way. So I'm working on being more clear and more bold in my delivery and using words and terms that are not so accusatory so that, you know, a person might not receive it a different way, the wrong way. No, because you could send me a text message and I could receive it a certain way. You weren't trying to be accusatory. Yeah, we all have our defense mechanisms. So, you know, you got to know your personnel and know who you're dealing with. Right, if you talking to somebody that might always receive your delivery the wrong way, maybe you just need to reword it. So that's what I'm working on, like how to properly word it so a person won't be offended by everything that I say. I don't use big head. I use bitch. Okay.
So where did you develop that disposition where you know, the way you comes off as an aggressive way? What do you think about that?
I don't know. Like again, my delivery might, in my mind, I might be typing something out or saying something or verbalizing something, and it's coming from me, and I'm in a place of, oh, I'm being positive, or this is just how I feel, and I'm not trying to be negative. But if the person receives it that way, you have to find a different way to like reword it so they don't receive that way.
That's a reflection of their
Right, but I don't want to diminish how they feel. Like if they receive my message,
your feelings, you better check them. We're wrong. They're over there.
Well, I mean, right, but it's not.
Hold on, if there's a lot of people saying it, it's happening. So we're not gonna act like everybody is just saying something the wrong way. You ain't saying something about it. So I'm saying, where's the disconnect? If you not understanding that what you're saying is coming off the wrong way.
Maybe a lot of people aren't saying it though. Maybe it's just alright.
No.
You said a relationship, though. You didn't say friendship.
But I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship. So
It is a relationship. No, we're talking about like you know, opposite sex or saying whoever your sex is, relationship. That's what we're talking about. So I'm talking about my delivery when it comes to that type of situation.
But it's still somebody that said it, correct?
One person, yeah, sure. But if the other people that I've dealt with in the past are not saying that same thing about my delivery, it's specific to that one person. So if I value that one person, I'm going to make adjustments the way I speak to, you know, not make that one person feel away.
Okay.
That's
You're not talking about in general. You're just talking
Yeah.
about when you're. Okay, I got you.
So sometimes you could carry things about yourself and not realize that you're doing it because nobody's telling you. So you might fall into certain habits, talk a certain way, yell, don't think you're yelling, cuss a lot, don't feel like you're being offensive. And if people just don't like you, they're not going to correct you. They're going to let you stay over there sounding dumb, saying this, saying that. And because I literally just had this conversation with somebody a couple weeks ago, I said, you are a complete and total ass. You are a brute. When my other friend said that, well, I'm sorry, I'm not your other friend. And if you're a person that values a relationship, like just getting to know somebody, you will be honest in that relationship. And it's a way that you're honest with them, whether it grows in a romance, friendship, best friend, oh, we cousins now, it don't matter. Your delivery plays a huge part. What you say ties into that. That's the thing that cultivates healthy relationship. You either toxic or you're not. And it's not all.
Both of them.
Well, that's true. But then the person that receives it the wrong way needs to say that. Because a lot of times people, they sit on it like, oh, they probably just had a bad day.
I mean, so
It might be issues they had in their past that is
Yes.
go to therapy. They gotta go to therapy then.
It's therapy.
You gotta go to therapy.
What I'm saying is, if the person you communicating with,
What's therapy?
maybe that's a trust thing. Maybe that's a trust thing.
Listen,
A mentor.
I am married to the say whatever, don't give a damn whatever, you take it how you want it, whatever you think. And it's a lot for me because I'm sensitive. So those comments come off crazy to me, whether it's text or whether you're just talking to me. Sometimes I have to say, whoa, wait a minute. And my original response when we first got together was to jump at you and bark back. You know, and now I realize that that's really not, that's just how you speak. And you don't mean any harm. So I think it's trying to find and make sure that person is what they're really bringing and why they're bringing it. They don't mean any harm.
Yeah,
But
I can't believe it.
my other piece that I was going to say is what I need to work on in relationship is I'm spoiled as fuck. Excuse me. I've been spoiled as fuck forever. And my partner is spoiled as fuck as well. And it's very hard for us in getting things together and navigating through the relationship to try to learn to spoil each other. And so I now realize that you get more, you get more flies, you get more bees with honey. So guess what? What I'm going to do is the more I give, the more she gives 18 million more times. So guess what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the good wife. I'm going to make dinner. I'm going to do all those good things because guess what? I know at the end of the day you love me and you're going to give me 18 times over what I'm ever going to be able to give you. So it's not about going barking back and forth at you. I know that we're both spoiled.
And no entitlement.
Yes, that's true. It's a process. It's a process, being honest. But at the end of the day, that I know that you don't mean me anything but good 5,000 times over. So I'm going to do the best that I can do and be the best wife that I can be. And I know that you're going to, as long as I give you that, you're going to give me way more than anything I can imagine. So.
We got on the fellas side. Let me see the microphone. Oh, that's one right there. Right. Something that we can do better in a relationship, and then we're gonna go to our next topic.
All right. But I got to work on? I don't think I need to work on anything. So my whole logic is, if you're in a relationship as a man, then your woman's supposed to be your assistant. So you need to, damn, all these heads pop right up. If you're the man, you're the head. If I'm supposed to be leading you, why am I working on anything? How are you telling me I need to work on something if I'm leading us to the promised land?
Even players got coaches. Even players got
Just because you take the role of leadership don't mean you a good one though. Just because you sit in the seat of the lead don't mean you a good leader. So it might, just because, okay, so if the man is supposed to lead, he may not have all the tools to be a good leader.
Who's telling me this?
Anybody.
No, not anybody. So if
You talking about the woman?
how's she telling me I'm not a good leader?
Maybe she's not telling you, maybe she's not saying that. Maybe she's making suggestions.
Then she not gonna be it. Then she can leave. She can always leave.
All right, that's the end of that. That's the end of that. That's the end of that, yeah.
No, I'm not old. She can always leave. Nah, you like, you bro? That's why I ain't really saying nothing here tonight. I'm like, what is going on here? That'd be crazy. No, like, you got
Bring us home.
Now you know him. Now you know him.
Yes. Yes.
No, the reason I asked you if you were real, because for the first part, the question, if I'm not mistaken, the question was, what do you think that you could be better at? And then you said, why? No, but then you went even further to say, like, why is she telling me that I need to be better or something? That's not the question. The question is, what do you think?
No, but I was responding to her. She responded to me by saying that somebody told me.
So you really think
He's in big league.
I genuinely believe that.
because like my pushback is like I think this is just me. Like I think if you're
Why'd you hire me? Because I'm supposed to be your assistant.
I think if you're a good leader, I think you're never perfect. And you're so aware of that. That's actually what makes you Kobe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, even if you had a perfect game, like you're actually like it's embedded in your mind to look for the shit that you could be better at. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I go out and I drop 60, like why I ain't drop 70 though? I need to go work on my mid range. I need to go work on my free throws. No, like I'm just saying, like, and in all actuality, you may be an amazing leader, but there's no such thing as perfect. So for me, like, and I think that's actually what makes great people great. They don't think they're great. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, they always looking for that one little extra edge, that one little thing that I can work on, that one weakness. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even in like in 2K, like niggas is rated 99, but they're not 100. So I need to figure out what's gonna get me to that 100 rate. And in reality, you're never gonna get 100. But the fact that you're continuing to push yourself to find those edges, that's what's gonna make you just that much more legendary. Like,
We're not talking about a game though.
Bitch, get out. Get out.
I don't get it. What I'm saying, this is the plan I'm laid out. This is our plan. Look, this is my plan. I never said it was perfect. I said I got my plan, you assist in my plan.
There you go.
But if that's your assistant is there to make sure you are doing what you need to do. Because if you make it, she's your accountability partner.
But you're telling me I need to get better. You're fired.
You will never see
You too headstrong, baby. You gonna crash and burn.
I'm not saying I'm perfect.
You are.
I don't even change nothing. That mean I'm saying I'm perfect. You get it?
Get out. Get out.
You call me too much.
He's done.
If you need no in the way that you got, why do you need an assistant?
What do you mean why I need an assistant? I take the topic earlier. You said if she makes more than me, you were saying that she's not spending no money. her money is my money. I don't understand the logic of you still spending money and if she got 500 grand and I'm making 50 grand, why the hell am I paying her?
Get another husband. You don't be a player.
Bitch better have my money.
That's my money.
No, it ain't. It's our money. It's our money.
You got your money. You better get right at what you do.
Our money.
Get right at what you do.
That's Debo. You know what I'm saying? Our money.
Listen, y'all ever see that movie Crazy Rich Asians? I think this might speak to how guys need to value themselves just like women do, right? So y'all seen the movie Crazy Rich Asians? Like, go watch it. It's a rags to riches story. It's real good. But in it, one of the daughters was like, she was a billionaire over in China. I don't know, whatever, real company. And her husband was a CEO. He made very good money, but she made more money than him. So when she shopped, she would hide what she bought because she knew that he felt insecure and demasculated just because she was so wealthy. But she treated him like she was the peasant to try to cover up what she already saw his insecurity was. Even with her pushing that narrative and being that supportive, he cheated on her. He went and because my point is he didn't think that he was valuable enough.
That's his right.
And that's what I'm talking about. You know, remind me to bring duct tape next time. Remind me to bring duct. What I'm saying is, before the man gets into the relationship with the woman, he already does feel like he needs to come with a lot. But then indirectly, even without her trying to push a certain whatever on him, if she makes or does more, he'll feel less.
But that's
how do you get around that?
That's a burden of being a man. That's why I said the man has already comes to the table having to do something to get the woman. That's the whole point. That's why we having this discussion.
But there are some women out there who want to build and grow something with somebody. Like, I'm not here to just look at y'all. What the fuck? No. Like, you know what I'm saying? When do you get to that point where you just want to do that? Like, it's not, if she comes with more and he comes with less, but they both got great minds, they can create something and then make more money than either one of them came with. But everybody always stop at the, oh, she make more, she thinks she better than me. No, she don't think that, you think that, and you don't like that. And you can always come up from that, but you're choosing to stay stuck in this, I only make 80,000 and she make 100. Okay, well, go find somewhere to make 20 more.
That 20,000 is nothing.
See, no, it's not that I'm using numbers as a, whatever. No, you know what?
They're equal. They don't want the equal part.
So let's get back to, what's your thing that you need to work on in a relationship?
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh,
She gonna put the mic down.
No. Patience. Patience is absolute because from my personal experience, which should be in a good relationship is cute. Not being in one that lasts long is hard. It's taxing because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the indirect dad. I don't want to be the single mom. I don't want to carry the stigma knowing that I think differently about things, but because I'm a single mom, I'm only looking at a certain way. So I gotta always, when I meet somebody or get to know somebody, understand where they are mentally. That requires a lot of patience because everybody is just out selfishly doing whatever they want to do, getting whatever they want to get. And in the meantime, I'm still looking for that fairy tale that Jackson keeps talking about. Like, it's somewhere. Just,
Whoa.
Y'all right here. What y'all doing? I'm a neck case. My bad.
You know, it's some sharp edges on the end.
I already know.
Yeah, all right. So, understanding where the person, because I feel like when people meet, y'all always connect. Like something deep inside of you will resonate with the people that you meet, right? That's what brings you close or want to get to know them more because it's something under the surface. And then when you start to get to know who that is,
it can really start to trigger some shit that you never wanted to deal with. But you like them. Something drew you to them.